This is my most popular video ever, and recently it reached 100,000 views. Now, as awesome as this is, there's also one major problem, and to understand it, we've got to go back in time. You see, a couple months ago, Mojang made a surprise update to Minecraft Bedrock Edition. All they did was change one thing, the /execute command. In this update, Mojang changed the Bedrock execute command to better match its Java Edition counterpart. Now, don't get me wrong, this was an awesome change at the time, but it also broke all the old systems using the old version of the command, including the one in this video. So, in order to celebrate this awesome milestone, I thought now would be the perfect time to make a new and improved version of this system with better optimization, new features, and most importantly, it actually works in the new update. So, with that being said, let's not waste any more time and let's get straight into the tutorial. Alright, so before we place down any command blocks, there is a little bit of setup we need to do to make sure this whole thing works properly. So the first thing you're going to want to do is head into your world settings and make sure you have your difficulty set to peaceful. Also, scroll down and in the cheat section, make sure you have mob spawning turned off. Once you've done that, if you look on the right side of my screen, you're going to see a bunch of random numbers and stuff. And these are actually the values being used by the system to do things like spawning special zombies, spawning hordes, all of that stuff. So to set this up, you want to go into your chat and type in /scoreboard, objectives, add, and then you need a name for your objective. I've just called mine zombie manager, and then you want to type dummy. After that, hit enter. I'm not going to do it because I already have mine set up, but once you do that, it should say like created new objective with the name of zombie manager. If you want to make it show up on the side of your screen like mine, just to test, you want to do /scoreboard, objectives, set display, sidebar, and then the name of your objective. So mine is zombie manager. Do that, hit enter, and then it'll show up on the side. Now for you guys, it's not going to have anything there yet, and that's what we're going to set up next. So all of those values under zombie manager, so gen, blood moon, horde timer, all of those, in order to set those up, what we want to do is go /scoreboard players, add, and then you need a name, so I'll just start with the first one, which is gen, then your objective name, zombie manager for me, and then 0. Now doing this, for me nothing changes because adding 0 just does nothing, but for you guys, you'll have a new value under there called gen. Now just repeat this for each of the objectives, so blood moon, horde timer, multiply timer, all of those, all the way down to subgen. Alright, pause. Real quick, before we continue, I do just want to point out that 100% of people watching this video are not subscribed. And I'm not even joking when I say this. This is an actual screenshot from my analytics page. Anyways, if you happen to be part of that 100% of people who haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It helps us a ton and helps us get one step closer to reaching 1,000 subscribers. Anyways, let's get back to the video. Now that we have all the setup done, we can actually start working on the commands. So the first thing we have is despawning. You're going to want to grab yourself a repeating command block and place it down. Make sure the arrow is facing forwards because we're going to be placing another block here after. In here, we want to set the settings to repeat, unconditional, and always active, no delay, and then this is the command. If you need more time, feel free to pause the video and come back once you typed it in. I am going to go through this a little bit quickly because there's a lot here to cover. So if you feel like you need to, just pause the video, type down the command, and then come back. Once you've done that, you're going to place another block coming out of the same direction. So make sure this arrow is pointing into the second block, and we're going to set this to chain, conditional, and always active. Once again, no delay, and the command is going to be right on screen. So that is it for the despawning. Next, we're going to move on to the zombies multiplying. Once again, repeating command block, make sure you have it facing an open area, and we're going to set this to unconditional, always active, no delay, and the command is just test for at e type equals zombie, just like that. After that, you want to place down a command block pointing the same direction and set it to chain, conditional, and always active with no delay, and the command is right there. If you have your objective name something else, just swap out zombie manager for whatever your objective is called, but everything else in the command should be the exact same. After that, place down another chain command block, this time unconditional, everything else stays the same, and the command is going to be right there. Once you've done that, we're going to place down 2 more chain command blocks, both set to conditional and always active with no delay. The first one here is going to be this command, and the second one is going to be this command. So now we're going to move on to the next part, which is resetting the scoreboard when there's no more zombies in the world. So to do this, have a repeating command block. Make sure, once again, facing in an open direction. Have it set to unconditional, always active, and no delay. And this is the command. Very simple. Next, you want to take a comparator, and you want to have it pointing out from the direction the arrow is facing. So make sure it looks like this. If you have a block like this, we're going to have it facing this way, and a comparator coming out of that side. After that, place a block in front of the comparator and a redstone torch on top. Above this torch, you want to have a command block facing up. Make sure, once again, it's facing the right direction. This one's going to be set to impulse, unconditional, and needs redstone with no delay. And there's the command on screen. After that, we're going to have 4 chain command blocks all set to unconditional, always active with no delay. The first one is going to have this command. The second one will have this command. The third one is going to be this. And the fourth one is right there. Now, they're all pretty much the same. They're just resetting various different values on the scoreboard. But this will make sure that everything gets reset once you've killed all the zombies in your world. So when new ones spawn, it'll start fresh. So again, make sure you have open space in front of your command block. This line is pretty long. And we're going to start off with a repeating, unconditional, and always active command block using this command. After that, coming out of that command block, you want a chain, conditional, and always active one using this. After that, we want an unconditional one, and we want an unconditional command block with this command. Then we switch back to conditional. Once again, same settings using this command. Still the same command block settings, no delay. Same settings for this one, this time using this command, spawning in a new zombie. Then we have a chain unconditional and always active command block using this command. After that, we want a chain conditional always active command block using this command. And these two are our logic for our first type of special zombie. So when special type equals 1, we add a tag to that zombie called strength. Then we just do the same thing over here using an unconditional command block, checking if the value is instead 2. After that, we have a conditional command block which sets the tag of that zombie to speed. Same thing for this one, unconditional. This time we're checking if it equals 3. And then the conditional command block after that just adds a tag of health. If you want to have more, special zombies, just come back to this command which randomizes special type and change this value to however many you want. So if you want 5, change it to a 5. And then over here, you want to just take these 2 command blocks, the unconditional and the conditional, set this to be the next highest number. So from 3, you go to 4, and then add whatever new tag you want. It can be called absolutely whatever you want. We will use that to add buffs over there. Make sure at the end of your chain, however long it is, make sure you add a chain unconditional always active command block with this command. Now, in order to add the buffs, we're going to have a repeating unconditional always active command block, which has this command for the strength zombie. We have a chain unconditional always active command block for the speed zombie. And then same settings, this time for the health zombie. And if you want to add more, all you have to do is change this tag equals to whatever your tag is for your zombie. Change the effect to whatever you want, keep the duration at 60, and change the amplifier to whatever you want. Now that we have the special zombies done, let's get on to the hordes. So, first of all, repeating command block, unconditional, always active, no delay. Once again, just testing for zombies. We're doing this just to minimize lag so the system doesn't run while there's no zombies alive. After that, we want a chain conditional always active command block with this command, just adding 1 to the horde timer. we want a chain unconditional always active command block, which checks if the horde timer is above 6,000. If you want this to be more, you can. Just remember this value is in ticks. So if you want to convert this down to seconds, just divide the number by 20 and that will be the amount in seconds. After that one, we want a chain conditional always active command block with this command, resetting the timer back to 0. Another one with the same settings, this time tagging a random entity near the player with the tag of horde summon, which is where we'll be spawning our horde. We then want to have same settings, and we're just spawning a zombie on that entity, and we're gonna do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 more times. So that's a total of 5, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 5 times total. If you want more, just copy and paste this command block and keep adding it to this chain. After that, we want a command block, and over here in the hover note section, you're actually going to call this server, and I will explain why in a little bit. We're going to set it to chain conditional always active and make it just say whatever you want. I have mine saying a horde has appeared with this special symbol just to change the color of the text. After that, just have a chain conditional always active command block and have it remove the horde summon tag. Now, the reason we're setting the hover note to server is because when I run this command, as you can see, it in the square brackets, but just do this again, it says the message is coming from the server. Of course, you don't have to do this. Now that we have the hordes and the main zombie stuff done, we can actually get on to the blood moon. Now, this is where things get a little bit complicated, so I'll slow down a little bit. If you guys need any help or anything, just let me know in the comments and I'll be glad to help out. So we're going to start with a daylight sensor, and you're going to place it down and hit it once to turn it into night mode. After that, have a comparator coming out of the daylight sensor with two redstone dust following after. On the left side of the comparator, so this side, not on the right, on the left side, we're going to have another comparator facing into this one, just like this, and then place down a lectern behind that comparator. Now, for the book in the lectern, you want to grab yourself a book and quill, and basically what you're going to do is go into this book and press the next page button until your page count says 20. Once you've done that, you want to put the book in the lectern and cycle to page 5 and page 6, just like this. Now, this might be a little bit confusing, but basically this is just making it so that when this daylight sensor goes off, it'll only activate if it's actually nighttime, not if there's a thunderstorm, not if there's a rainstorm. So this whole thing just checks to make sure that it's actually nighttime. Make sure this on page 5 and 6, otherwise this won't work properly, and make sure you have exactly 2 redstone dust here. Once you've done that, we can actually get to the command blocks, and this honestly is quite simple actually. So first off, you want to have an impulse, unconditional, and needs redstone command block with this command. Now this is just setting our randomizer for our blood moon. If you want to have this be rarer or more common, just change the second value. So if you want this to be more rare, make it higher. If you want it to be more common, make it lower. I have mine set to be 1 in 5, but you can really do whatever you like. Next, we want a chain unconditional always active command block with this command, which is just checking if our blood moon score is anything other than 1. Then we want a chain conditional always active command block, which then sets it back down to 0. So this is just gonna do nothing if it's more than 1. Then we have an unconditional command block, which checks if it's equal to 1. If it is, we have our chain conditional always active command block, which adds fog for all the players, just to make things look a little bit cooler. We have another conditional command block, which just sets up the stuff that we're going to use for the title command. Then we have another chain conditional always active command block, which sets the subtitle. And I've used this special symbol to change the color of the text, as you can see. We have another chain conditional always active command block, which sets the title for everyone. And then we just have these two at the end, same settings, but these two just play two separate sounds just to make it a little bit more immersive, I guess. Well, no, that's not really the right word, but if I go over here and I'm just going to set this between 1 and 2 to make this easier, if I set this command block to daytime, you'll see what it looks like when it activates. So as you can see, it played, or as you could hear, it played two sounds. The fog is now all red and it showed a title on my screen. Now, I'm not going to end the blood moon yet. I'll show you guys how to set this up and then I'll show you guys what it looks like. So the setup here is the exact same thing with the lectern, same page count, everything's the same. But after the 2 redstone dust, we're going to have a block with a redstone torch at the end. After this redstone torch, we're going to have a impulse command block, which is set to unconditional needs redstone, and we're going to have it check if our blood moon score is equal to 1. Then we want a chain conditional always active command block, which just sets it back down to 0. We want another chain conditional always active block, which sets a subtitle for our players. Then we have the same settings for the title. We have the fog being removed, same settings on the block. And then at the end, same settings. This is for our sound for ending the blood moon. Now, if I go and activate this, as you can hear, it played the sound, the fog is gone, and it gave a nice little title. Now, we can move on to making the zombies stronger. So here, it's the same setup as the blood moon, same thing with the comparators and everything, the 2 redstone dust with the redstone torch. After that, we want an impulse command block, unconditional needs redstone. We're going to add one to our value called subgen. Then we have a chain unconditional always active command block. We check if the subgen is more than 3. Then we have a conditional chain command block, which adds one to the gen. We have same settings, and this resets our subgen back to 0. Then we have a message coming from, once again, a command block with the hover note of server, same settings, and it's just going to say anything you want. Mine just says the zombies have gotten stronger. After that, we have a chain conditional always active command block, which just plays a sound. Now, if you want the zombies to get stronger faster or slower, just come to this block right here, which checks if the subgen is more than 3. If you want it to take longer, just set this higher. If you want it to take less time, just set this lower. This is just however many days it'll take for the zombies' generation to increase. So mine is set to 3 days right now. So every 3 days, they'll get stronger and gain new buffs. Speaking of buffs, let's actually set those up. So before we set up anything for the gen, I first have to talk about the blood moon buffs. So here we have a repeating unconditional always active command block, which just checks if the blood moon is equal to 1. Then we have a chain conditional always active command block. So if it is equal to 1, we affect every zombie with speed for 30 seconds. Then we have another command block with the same settings, adding strength, and one more which gives them health boost. Now, of course, you can change up these effects however you want, but these are just the ones I have set, and those are the ones that are my personal preference. Now, zombies start on Gen 1, so we're not going to have anything there, but for Gen 2, we want a repeating unconditional always active command block, which checks if the gen is equal to 2. Then we have a chain conditional always active command block, which just gives the zombies speed. For Gen 3, it's the same thing. This time we check if the gen is equal to 3. Then I just have this command block here, which gives them health boost. Same thing for Gen 4, this time checking if it's equal to 4. I've added strength here. For Gen 5, I have set the speed to 2 instead of 1. For Gen 6, I think, yes, health boost gets increased. And for Gen 7, I increase their health even more. And finally, our final thing before these few miscellaneous things is these zombies being able to spawn during the day. So to do this, we need a repeating unconditional always active command block, just checking if there are any zombies in the world. If there are, we use a chain conditional always active command block, adding 1 to the spawn timer. Next, we have a chain unconditional always active block, which checks if the timer is more than 600. Once again, this is in ticks if you want to change its value. Then we have a conditional chain command block, which sets the spawn timer back to 0. Same settings in this next one. This time we are just tagging a random entity near the player with the tag of spawn. Same settings in this one. We are executing at that entity named spawn and spawning a zombie. And then we just have a chain unconditional always active command block, which just removes that tag. And with that, we are basically done our main system. The last thing we have over here is just making the zombies not burn during the day. So repeat unconditional always active, and I'm just affecting every zombie with fire resistance. Now, if you want to have only zombies spawning in your world, you can also do what I've done here. And I will just show you guys a few examples, and then you can add them however you want. So over here, I have a repeating unconditional always active command block, which checks for any witches in the world using this command, and it just spawns a zombie. And then we have a chain conditional always active command block, which just kills that witch. I've gone ahead and just killed Endermen and Phantoms because it doesn't really make sense for zombies to spawn on them. And then I've done the same thing with zombies for the cave spiders. So if you don't want a mob to be in the world, just set this up. And if you wanted to also spawn a zombie, make sure you have these 2 command blocks. Otherwise, just have a command block that kills that mob. Now, we are pretty much done everything, but don't click off the video yet. If you run away, everything will stop working. And in order to fix that, we need to set up a ticking area. Now, to do this, there's 2 options. Now, I'll start with the more optimized method, and then I'll talk about the simpler method. So, in order to do the first method, what you want to do is have 2 corners of your build marked out. One at the lower corner and one at the very top corner. You want to head down to your bottom corner and just stand here and make sure you note down your coordinates. Once you've done that, fly over here and stand on top of your second block. And then we want to go into our chat and type in /ticking area, add whatever your first coordinates were, and then your current coordinates. So you just want to use the tilde 3 times. And then we need a name. So I'm just going to call this test. Once you've done that, hit enter. And if you look at the top of my screen, it created the ticking area, but it's not using the right coordinates. Now, this is just a weird bug in Minecraft. It's been happening for quite a while now. Just fly away from your structure and double check that the commands still work. So just spawn in a zombie, see if everything works. If it doesn't, come back and just remove your ticking area and add it again. But if it does work, everything is ready and you're good to go. Now, to remove a ticking area, all you do is /ticking area remove, and then whatever your ticking area's name is. Now, the second method for setting up ticking areas is a lot simpler, but once again, it might cause more lag. All you have to do is just stand somewhere near the center of your creation. Mine should be somewhere around here. Then you want to go into your chat, do /ticking area, add, circle, and then your current coordinates. And for the radius, you want to type in 4 and then give it a name. Once again, this also has the same problem with the coordinates, so just fly away, test it, and if it needs to be fixed, remove it and re-add it. And with that, we are officially finished. Thanks for watching.